Today we're eating in Paris. We're going to be exploring the full spectrum of the Parisian cuisine, from street food favorites to the refined elegance of fine dining. Paris is a city built on flavor, where every corner holds a story told through its food. From humble market stalls to Michelin-starred restaurants, the city is a paradise for food lovers. Let's start with something more different when it comes to Paris: street food. While France is super famous for its elegant cuisine, the city also hosts some of the best casual eats you will ever find. So let's dive into it. First up, we're at Okome, a hidden gem serving Japanese onigiris with a French twist. Since we were on the go, these hand-pressed rice bowls were the perfect choice. Onigiris date back to the Heian period in Japan and was originally a way to preserve rice for travelers. I had the tempura flake onigiri, crispy, savory, and packed with flavor. Next, we're stepping into Le Petit Vendôme, where Parisians flock for the best sandwiches in the city, and where the seats outside the place are perfect to enjoy the last rays of the day. The traditional spot is known for serving traditional French charcuterie in a very chill setting, as you can see. Again, since we were on the go and wanted to explore everything we could, we had to choose something that we can take with us. And that was a jambon sandwich. I was stuck between the traditional and the owner's favorite, and obviously I had to go with the owner's favorite because he probably knows better, right? Jambon cooked in white wine, onions, and parsley with pickles, mustard, and butter.
Mother of God, they do love their herbs. No garden in my mouth. Feels like a sandwich made by my grandma. The sound of the alarms makes me miss home.
The jambon beurre sandwich, a staple of French lunches, gained popularity in the 19th century as a simple yet elegant meal for the workers. I've been seeing the word boulangerie everywhere in the city, and I had to research it. I found out that the word boulangerie comes from the Old French boulanger, meaning baker, and has been used since the Middle Ages, describing any establishment that bakes bread. Oh, we do love a good bread, don't we? And we are in the perfect place for it. If you want to switch things up a little bit, the Kurdish flavors of the Urfa durum are gonna take your brain away. This restaurant specializes in Kurdish-style durum, a traditional wrap that originated from Urfa. I'm not really one for rating places because I feel like it's not really something that I should be doing, since food in general is very subjective. So what I like, you may not. But let me just say this was my favorite place. I had a chicken durum, and what made it extra special is the pita, made fresh on the spit right in front of me. It was warm, soft, and perfectly complements the juicy grilled chicken, and it had no sauces, just vegetables and the meat, and it was extremely juicy. It was leaking. Maybe the meat and maybe the spices. I have no idea how they prepare everything, but excellent durum.
Do you remember when I was saying in the other video that the first kebab did not have any sauces on it because it didn't need it? This is the first example that I can give you. Don't have any sauces on it, but it's so juicy, it's literally licking. Licking. This is perfect.
I would stop this video and just go back and eat it. This is how much I loved it. Welcome to... Wait a minute, I need to read this off. Marché couvert des enfants rouges. That was hard. This is actually the oldest covered market in Paris. It was established in 1615 under King Louis XIII. Originally, it was built to supply fresh goods to an ongoing population, and then it just remained up to this day a place for multicultural cuisines. Not all the stalls were open, but since we are in Paris, isn't it like mandatory to try cheese? I did buy some creamy goat cheese. For another French street food classic, I had to go to Le Fenelon. I had a delicious croque monsieur, crispy, cheesy, exactly what I needed. Now let me just tell you something fun. This dish first appeared in the French cafes in 1910, and it became quickly a French staple. Its origins are quite funny. They're linked to French workers who left their ham and cheese sandwiches on the radiators and they melted. And this is the base of these delicious sandwiches. Well, obviously the restaurants refined the idea, adding bechamel sauce. So now they're like a little bit more fancier. And what goes amazing with the sandwich? An apple pie. Another spot for street food is the Mai Tai restaurant. Thai food history is deeply rooted in Bangkok's history, evolving from floating market vendors to bustling night markets. We shared a big plate filled with crispy wontons, chicken skewers, spring rolls, lemongrass sausages. Oh my god, the lemongrass sausages. And chicken satay. On the side, I had to try the tom kha soup because they had a big sign outside the restaurant saying soups. So obviously, I'm easily influenced. The tom kha is a rich, fragrant coconut lemongrass chicken soup. But what this Mai Tai restaurant takes pride in are their street noodles. They're supposed to be super flavorful, so if you ever have time and space in your belly, go for it. Many of today's beloved fine dining dishes trace their roots back to humble beginnings. I couldn't move on without trying out the famous onion soup and the elegant quiche. The onion soup, the ultimate glow-up story. What started off as peasant food basically made from onions and water turned into one of the most famous French iconic, cheesy dishes. The soup has ancient roots, like ancient Greece and Rome kind of roots. Onions were cheap, easy to grow, and didn't mind sitting in the cellar for months. So people who didn't have a lot of money threw them in a pot, added whatever liquid they had, sometimes beer or wine, and called it dinner. Fast forward to the 18th century, in France, the onion soup gets a makeover. Parisian market vendors in Les Allées were serving it up as the go-to late-night hangover cure. One legend says King Louis XV invented it with just onions, butter, and champagne he found while drunk and hungry in a hunting lodge. Is there any historical proof behind these statements? Absolutely not. The French onion soup eventually landed in high-end restaurants and hearts around the world. You would think that finding onion soup in Paris should be easy, right? Wrong! I don't like queues and it was really cold outside. I wanted to cheat the system and see if I can order it. It was sold out!
We cannot do this experience without trying the classic.
After almost an hour of walking around, we finally found a place that had it.
Onion, no. Oh, hi. We're not going higher, but just so you know, it's still...
I was fighting with this cheese at one point, but it was excellent. Quiche, the classic cousin of pie who shows up to brunch in heels. But surprise, it's not originally French. The first quiche actually came from Germany and the medieval kingdom of Lothringen, which the French later renamed Lorraine. The word quiche is thought to come from the German word Kuchen, meaning cake. So yes, quiche is basically a savory cake in disguise. The classic quiche Lorraine with bacon and cheese started to gain fame in France, and once the French got their hands on it, they gave it the glow up. Buttery crust, Gruyere, leeks, mushrooms, even smoked salmon. Suddenly, quiche went from whatever's in the kitchen to served at garden parties with chilled wine. And a fun fact, in the 1980s, quiche went through an identity crisis thanks to the book Real Men Don't Eat Quiche. But let's be honest, real foodies definitely do. So yeah, quiche is the ultimate shapeshifter. German roots, French flair, and always a little bit fabulous.
It smells like basil, basil. No paprika, I'm just saying. This is what I'm talking about. Have you tried the ones in Berlin, right? Oh! Why is it so good? Oh!
Now let's switch gears and step into the fine dining world. Paris is home to some of the most exquisite restaurants. First up, the Foie Gras restaurant. Now let's talk about foie gras and what it is and why is it so famous and delicious. It goes back over 4,000 years ago to ancient Egypt, where geese were observed naturally overfeeding before migration. So the Egyptians began the process of fattening the birds, a technique later adopted by the Romans and eventually refined in France during the Renaissance. By the 18th century, foie gras became a culinary status symbol, particularly in the area of Alsace, where innovative chefs developed this buttery, creamy form that we know today as foie gras. It was later cemented as a luxury dish by the famous chef Jean-Pierre Claus, who introduced this dish to the court of King Louis XVI. I know the process of obtaining the foie gras is a little bit more sensitive to some people, but luckily nowadays we have options. We have ethical foie gras, which is made using natural fattening methods which allow the geese and the ducks to fatten naturally. Now let's get into food. We had duck foie gras ravioli in a luxurious truffle sauce.
Jesus Christ.
Cream on my lips and all that. I was shook. I can't even describe how beautiful the taste of this dish was. Roasted duck breast with a balsamic sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Again, the sizing. Wow! The famous escargot with spinach.
Silly guys.
Eh? It's fresh spinach, it's not like frozen. It's like it's been freshly cut right now from the garden. And they do the snail with it too. This is how fresh this feels. Whoa. We cannot go to Paris without having them. And roasted marrow bone with sea salt and toasted bread. Bone marrow was enjoyed by French royalty and prized for its deep umami flavor. The French royalty knew what they liked. And you know what the funnest part of this restaurant? There were so many hidden geese and ducks in there. They were everywhere. Paintings, figurines, tiny sculptures. We even made a fun game out of it, trying to figure out how many geese and ducks are hidden in the restaurant. And I could not leave Paris without trying some of their more special dishes. And for that, I chose the restaurant L'Escargot, a legendary restaurant known for its French delicacies. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Well, in this case, the small little escargot. They've actually been enjoyed in France since the Roman era, but it only became a fine dining delicacy in the 19th century, where chefs in Burgundy developed these sophisticated recipes with butter, garlic, and herbs, and you know it sounds amazing. Now let's get into what we actually had. Since we talked so much about them, you know I had to order them. My choices were spinach, truffle, and foie gras. It was someone's birthday, so they sang happy birthday in French. Cute!
Happy birthday. Yeah, come on.
Iconic choices. Proud of myself. My favorite though? Truffle. It had such a rich, earthy depth. Oh! But honestly, I didn't expect any less. The place looked beautiful. We also had fresh oysters, which I have to admit, I do struggle with them every single time. It might be the texture. I think it's just that. But I'll let the video speak for itself.
It's very good.
Another dish that I've never had before, but I've heard it tastes like chicken, frog legs. First of all, it does taste like chicken, but a better version of a chicken. It's so soft. And since it's the season, okay, not that season, my second favorite, asparagus season. You know I had to have asparagus soup. And the surprise for me was the pollock with zucchini in a langoustine emulsion. It was so incredibly prepared that it was melting on the plate. I saw Jesus for a second and he said hi. Although we may have ordered a little bit too much, I couldn't say no to desserts. You know, special compartment in your stomach has to be done. I chose the silkiest panna cotta of my life with a raspberry jam. Wait, it wasn't a jam, it was like a coulis because it was cool. And the famous crêpe Suzette, which was actually invented by accident, like so many great dishes. And it was when a waiter accidentally flambéed the crêpe in an orange liqueur. For the Prince of Wales, from quick bites on the streets to luxurious fine dining, we had a great time. Paris offered us food like no one other. Okay, now that we both salivated together, which is your favorite dish of them all? Let me know down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!